Shalom, 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 Israel. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everyone is in a good state of mind, thinking positive, being led by the Spirit of God, by His Word, keeping His commandments. And so I want to take this opportunity to bring a video, make some kind of video to where just kind of gives my thoughts on a subject that is very much needed, because what this subject does, if we get it right, we sit around the round table, and brainstorm and put our thoughts together, and then line up the facts and the data, we can put together very much needed parts of the truth surrounding our disbursement, the Israelites' disbursement. And the reason why this is important is because the our captors got us in a legal captivity now. Legal by contracts. Social status, they're using eugenics, social status, and our political understanding, or a lack of understanding, to hold us in economic and social, political, legal, and using the legal system to hold us to actually continue to force us to live in their empire, to build their empire for nothing. We're still their slaves through the eugenics of birth certificates and keeping us in their legal jurisdiction. You hear what I'm saying? It's jurisdiction is our slavery right now. We give over to their jurisdiction. We allow them, like Kanye West said, we in a volunteer slavery now, because we volunteered them to have jurisdiction over us. And so therefore they're always making laws and bringing us into their jurisdiction when we break them, or making us responsible to pay the penalty of the law, which most of the time is monetary. What they say is their money. We got to use their money. So they're forcing us to live in their system, because we don't have a government. We don't know the law. We don't know our rights. We don't know our human rights. That's the main thing. We don't know what it means to be human, because they never treated us with humanity. They told us, we'll just give you a percentage of your humanity. We only recognize a percentage of your humanity. And when it's not up to them to recognize our humanity, we have to recognize it, and recognize who we are as related to a people. Because that's how God functions. He created 18 nations. He chose the Israelite, the special people, out of those 18 nations, and he gave them dominion over all the other people on the earth and the land. It's exactly what Esau is doing to the land and the earth now. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. Why? Because we gave them title deed to the earth. They got it from us. When we stop keeping God's laws and when we stop running the earth like He told us to, the earth began to go out of whack. And by us yielding our members to obey the laws and statutes of Esau, or whoever the nation was that had power over the earth at the time. The Bible said the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. Well, whoever the hands was, the captivity, they captured us too, because we bowed down to them. And we didn't seek God, Yahweh, for deliverance because we didn't know. A lot of us were Hellenized. A lot of us was overtaken by the power of lust and sin and enjoyed the pleasures of that the other kingdoms brought. We didn't like keeping God's laws. A lot of us didn't even know it. You know, after we start going in and out of these captivities, we never went out of them because we never went back into power over the earth again. So we were always under subjection to whatever nation had world power. So now the nation, which is the Roman, Idumea, Greek and Romans, they have confederate, incorporated, and became allies with the rest of the nations to oppress us. And they are trying to appear to be humane at it. See, that's one thing you got to remember. You got to remember that. They are trying to be humane at it. And that's why the Bible says the devil has to be exposed in the last day. Because he's disguised himself as an angel of life. So the rest of the countries are trying to be humane at keeping Israelites in captivity. I'm not going to read right now, but you go to Mark, the 12th chapter, verse 1, down to, I think, verse 10. And, you know, you see where the context changed. But anyway, it's talking about the vineyard, about a man making a vineyard and designing it. And then he lent it out. He lent it out to the people, to the husbandman, the people. So that's giving you the typology and describing what God had done to the earth. He gave it out to the people. But, you know, he had that chosen people, don't forget that. And they were really the owners. They were co-owners with God. That's the Israelites. So the parable goes on to talk about how the husbandman, who was the sharecropper, see where I'm going? He wanted to take, he saw how the system was working. He said, okay, he got his son and his chosen ones down here. He got his chosen people. He got his inheritors down here. And they're kind of watching over us. And we want to take it from him. So if we take it from him, we have to get rid of his messengers. Because they come and collect from us his portion. They are the real rulers on the earth. So if we get rid of then he won't have anybody else. So they started killing the messengers. It's kind of like the nations. They separated us. Psalms 83. I'm just giving you a brief summary so you'll know where I'm going with this video. And so that's the pattern you have to watch. That's the theme and the major theme and many other themes that if you know these themes and this major theme, no false religion can interject into the Bible and into the story of God, the earth, his people, his deliverance, and their eternal rulership over this planet. That's the story. And it's got themes and stories that set up the movement of these people as God interact them with the other people. And as he make them on this potter wheel, he make these people through punishment, love and kindness, delivering them, chastising them, delivering them, bringing them out, chastising them, letting them do whatever they want to do, and they get themselves in another jam. He'll chastise them. He'll deliver them, depending on their hearts. And these are the people that he's going to deliver, the people that he's been chastising down through the years. Because those are his sons, right? So if he chastised you through your life and you listened to him and you came out through his punishment and your love for him and his love for you, then you're going to be delivered. You hold on to that. You keep doing that. You keep getting up. But if you one of those people who never received chastisement, which is the only one race on the earth that never received chastisement. Now they receive punishment but never chastisement. And they'll never change, and you all know who I'm talking about. Idumea. So this video is the result of this video I'm going to show you, and I'm going to read the disclaimer too. Is the first thing is for educational purposes. This is a copyright. So the copyright infringement, people won't get me. It's not to make any money, and it's not when we get to talking about these laws down here, it's not to it's not to give legal advice. It's for educational purpose, research, and just to teach, reporting on news that might be considered. This might be considered a Fair Act video, Fair Act usage. So this is my disclaimer. So we're going to go to the video, and you all know by the title. Well, you can see that this video is one that it comes right on time. You know, this video comes right on time because I've been on Facebook and everywhere I can scream and teach. Everywhere I can scream and teach that these Israelites, the Moors, and we need to get the story of the diaspora of the Northern Kingdom together, because that's who I'm calling the Native Americans. But the camps are calling the Native Americans those pale-faced people, those people who call themselves Native Americans. They're calling those people Native Americans, but those people are identity thieves. The true Native Americans are the people who were here, who the explorers saw, and who Columbus saw when they came on, so-called came to this side and discovered America. The people they saw on this side were people that came over here to their land or far country, the 9 tribes of Israel. They left through the Euphrates, down around the lower part of Africa, and God held the current and the wind and brought them over here. Had been over here over 1,000 years before Columbus came, and that was the 12 tribes. That's who they saw. They called them native savages, the Indians. Now, the diaspora was happening, right? The diaspora was happening. It was happening. Okay? It was happening. It was on. They had Moors and the colonists were to scatter Judah, and God knows whoever else was mixed up in that transaction. Asia, Japhet, Ham, you know, but mainly Judah through the Pacific, down through Mexico. They had mixed them in over there. That's another video. We're going to stay on this right now. Remember, we're talking about they got us in a legal fake law dilemma because we're handing our jurisdiction over to them when we are not their people. We are the people of the land, and they have to follow the already established laws older than the Constitution and the treaties that we have, that they have on record, that they made with us, not because they had conquered us, as conquered people don't make treaties with conquered people don't make treaties with people who conquer them, except they bow down. These treaties state that they had to stay out of our territories and respect us, and they had no legal jurisdiction in our lands or as we traveled through their lands, because it's all our lands. The Peace and Friendship Treaty holds them to informs them of that, and it's established, never to be abolished, and the rights of the indigenous people. That's us. They've stolen our identity, and we can prove it. We have proved it. We have proved. We know those pale-faced people wasn't here. All the research and all the bones and all the explorers, they never wrote in any of their books or drawings or pictures that was taken that those people were the people they met. We were the dictionary and all of the explorers' accounts say that they met copper tone people here on every shore. They met copper tone people around this continent. So we know that those pale-faced people, they are a product of mulattoes sticking with their own kind. And they only came in about the late 1700s when they really formed communities and started populating and called themselves the Native American, one of the tribes of the Native Americans. They never said they were all of the Native Americans. They said they were just one tribe of the Native Americans. And y'all start calling them Gad. And then what you did is when you start giving them Gad, you took all the rights of this land away from yourself and away from us, away from Judah. Because they can't go in and take no blood test and say you Judah. So if you speak now, I'm Judah, y'all brought me over here, you taking all the rights away from yourself. They don't know, and you don't even know what your blood, who you are. You don't know who you are because we all mixed together. We are all mixed together over here in all the captivities. We are one people. Judah and all the other 11 tribes are probably intermingling with each other right now. They did during the Dark Ages. They did through slavery. They mixed those babies up, sold babies, took them to other islands and everything. So you don't know who you are. You just know if you're on this land, you're going to operate under the banner of Judah. And wherever you're at, you're going to operate under what Genesis 49 said you were, where you'd be at. And that's probably who you are. But he also said that we was going to become one people in the land of our captivity. And we know that what that meant spiritually, but we also know all of us, they've been mixing up. The tribes have been mixing up and mingling and having babies by different tribes. That was not supposed to happen, but they've been doing it for ancient years. Levites were supposed to stay with Levi, that Judah was supposed to stay with Judah because we wanted to keep the wealth of our land, you know. But now we don't have no land. They mixed it all up now, so you'll lose that argument just on pure logic. So now what they saying, okay, so if y'all don't know, y'all think we brought y'all over here, we gonna keep y'all in our jurisdiction. So we gonna make sure y'all follow these laws. And y'all already got laws. We already got laws. I'm sitting right here looking at them right now. We've got We've got the Peace and Friendship Treaty. We've got the Peace and Friendship Treaty right here. We've got the doctrine, the Clearfield Doctrine. We've got America's Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous People. Those are our laws. We don't have to prove who we are. They got to prove that we ain't. We ain't these people. You hear what I'm saying? And so this is what this guy is talking about. Let's listen to him. Let's listen to him. This is what he's talking about. And wait a minute. In conclusion, if we're not their citizens, like the Moors have been saying, if we are not their citizens, if we don't claim to be a part of their ruler, their citizens, you know what that means. We're under they rule over you. You're their peasants. Yeah, you're their servants. The servants, in their world, their people always serve the king. That's what it is in their world. The hierarchy is the king, translated government now. God, he's their God. The highest, the strongest power to white people is other white people with the strongest power. They the gods. They the highest people. They call them the gods. They got more power. So, you know, that's what we're looking at right now. So that's how their subjects honor them, like we honor the Most High. And so they can understand we honor the Most High, so we keep his laws and his rules. That's how we govern ourselves. No man can come and say, no, you got to keep my laws. You can't honor the Most High. That's against our freedom of religion, right? So if the Most High say, do not unite with other nations, they can't say, no, you got to unite with us because we over here and y'all didn't know who y'all were for a long time. So we got jurisdiction over y'all just based on we just want it. No, God made us and made them. He made us like he made them. And he chose us. We're not using our royalty on you. We're just using common humanity. That's why I said we don't know what humanity means. We're just using the term. We just use the definition of common humanity. No man can tell you to follow his laws and his rules. The only way he can do that is he has to get a gun and point it at you and make you watch you all day and night and make you sit there and do everything he tell you to do. He gonna get sleepy, man. So he's not gonna do that. So he tried to do it with the legal system, with the mind game, right? So if you honor his jurisdiction and say, yeah, I'm a citizen, I'm your resident, you're the king over here, you got more power than me, I recognize you as God of the land, then you got to follow his laws. And look what he got you under. He got you under the black codes, the black Negro laws. All you have to do is Google this stuff. He got you under the black Negro laws. So all of this stuff has been taught for years. But what hasn't happened is the Moors, Dane, Callaway, the Native American, Kui Mayo, the Israelites get together and establish the First Amendment. Okay? Now I'm going to do that. I'm going to read this First Amendment to you, and then we're going to look at the video. Now, the First Amendment says, I might not be able to read too good, but it says, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. Okay? It says, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. So in other words, you can't say, well, this religion is better than that religion. We're going to make a law where the Israelites can't or can't talk against Christians or say the Christians is wrong. Because the Christian, we establish them as being the highest form of religion. They can't do that. They can't respect one religion or the other one and say that. So your government that we created, that they swore an oath to, cannot come against us because of our belief. Okay? And it says, abridge the freedom of speech. See, you can't come against us for talking against women. It says, or of the press. We can print stuff, we can make signs, we can put it out, we can make these videos. And it says, or the rights of the people peaceful to assemble. Now you think that means come together and protest. No. What the forefathers knew then, which were the Israelites, they knew that these people, they've been knowing it. David knew that they were trying to scatter us. They knew they had scattered us. They already knew the damage that was done. Because they were coming out, they was running over here from Europe. The Dark Ages turned into the Renaissance on them, right? So when they wrote this out, they knew that the people were going to have to gather back together again, and as a people, and they knew the damage and the weapon that of identity theft that Esau had used on us already. This is after they had sold babies, scattered us, and everything. That's when this contract, this constitution was written. It's after the Peace and Friendship Treaty. So the Peace and Friendship Treaty, we knew then that we had to protect ourselves. We couldn't make them leave. So we had to come to an agreement with them to where they couldn't get jurisdiction over and start telling us and making us keep their laws. We knew that they hated us, and that would be genocide to give them people the right to have police in our area and all of that. We knew it then that we couldn't let them soldiers ride over in our territory because they come to kill. The devil come to kill, steal, and destroy. So what we had to do is we had to establish this treaty. That's what the amendments are. We had to establish this as a people. This is what we fought for back then. Okay? And it says our right to assemble. That means to come back together and inform our people who we are again. And come back together as a people. A right to assemble. Since the Maccabees, they told us we couldn't keep our culture. We couldn't say we was Jews. We couldn't pray in public. Because they wanted to stop us from being a people. Read Psalms 83. God promised to scatter us, and he used them to do it because of our obedience. It was because of our obedience, disobedience, that we scattered, that curse came on us. And so he knew that we were going to have to put this nation together. They knew, even in common law, men knew that these people were going to try to stop us from assembling again. So it said, and to petition the government for a redress of grievance. So we got to always be able to go back to these people who we let run our affairs up there and tell them, hey, we don't like the way that's not working for us. We're gonna make another law so we can fix that. That's what that is. So that's what we should be doing now, and that's what this brother is talking about right here.
Let's talk about that first Let's talk about that. And then let's add some love in it for our people. And if you say you love the people, let's really love the people. Let's see the people the truth. Since you say you want to come up,
Now see, this right here, this is what kept us apart so long. That attitude that we trying to expose each other, and we trying to tear each other's ideology down and confound each other's ideology. That's not what everybody's right. The church is right for trying to hold a religious meeting to hold the people's mind on God. And the Israelites was right to say, okay, now, thank y'all, but it became corrupt and condemned. Now we want the people to come outside, and we're going to talk about taking this earth back. We're going to let them know who they are. We're going to wake them up a little farther. The Moors is right because they said, now these people got y'all in political slavery, and this is how you get some of this pressure off of you. They're going to still be owning the world, but this is how you get some of this contract pressure off of you. You got to come back and be a nation again. And the Bible said, yeah, that's right, because I want y'all to gather together and come out of her. That means come out of her legal system. Do not let her have that police jurisdiction over you or that legal jurisdiction over you, because that's going to interfere with us keeping God's laws. They've used that as part of their eugenics. Now they've used that. Don't be ignorant of the warfare and his weapons, Satan's weapons. That's part of the weapons. So any weapon we can disarm through contract and through just standing up and say, hey, we don't go along with that. I do not consent with your government. I do not consent. This is not a contract. I'm not in contract with you. Inducement to fraud. You want me to say that I'm Negro, black, and colored when I'm an Israelite. That's the First Amendment. That's all in the First Amendment. I do Clearfield document. Put that Clearfield document. You are not a government. That's what the Clearfield document states. That these people are posing as government, but you are not. So you don't have, you can't win. So if we get to court, you're gonna already be disproved as a government to have any jurisdiction over me, because you made money. You called it money, and you de facto anyway. So you let them know you can't. I know who I am. I know my rights, and you're not gonna say you got legal jurisdiction over me because you're not a government. And I didn't set you up for a government. You swore an oath to protect the Constitution. If you in that office, if you playing like you're in that office, you got that uniform on, or you got that robe on, then you got to follow these laws. And if you ain't, just say you're a kidnapper, and you out here, so we'll know who you are and where you coming from. We got to pick our guns up then and start fighting again till we can come to some more peace treaties. But this peace treaty you're dishonoring. So we got to keep them in dishonor. Okay, let's listen to this.
Yeah, I already love that. I'm in these streets for real. You know, in a righteous manner. Yeah, we ain't following up under no 501c3 organization that was established in 2003. We understand that. So if you're indigenous to the land and you claim for freedom, people, how can you free the people if you're not, if you don't have hereditary entitlement to the land on which you stand?
And what I don't understand, how come the Israelites won't answer none of that? They're always talking about somebody else sitting back and won't answer none of the questions. They are not familiar with that. And Esau know that they are not. That's why he's not respecting them, saying we uniting back into the Israelites. Because he know that you're not actually committed to that First Amendment, because you're not stepping up to the plate to what your legal obligations is to stop you from being feeble-minded. This is what they hold you on. They feeble-minded. They're ignorant to the law, and they can't govern themselves. So we got to give them scraps and handouts. They're not our people, and we don't even like them. They don't even consider them all the way human. Anybody that won't stand up for themselves is not human. Anybody that won't legally step to the plate and say, hey, we are this nation. They dishonor their ancestors. You talking about your ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, which is my ancestors. But you dishonoring yourself as a Native American. All of those people there, all of those ancestors there, they were Israelites, and they were also Native Americans. And they were also transported away from here, and now they call them Puerto Ricans. They call them, the tribes were transported. That's the transatlantic right there. That's part of the transatlantic slave trade right there. Y'all want to say they all came from Africa? No, some of them came from Asia. Some of them came from Europe. Jews are scattered. Judah is scattered all over in all the land, on every corner, all the land. They are the tribe that's scattered everywhere. The Jews, the southern tribes, Judah especially. But this guy is saying you say you want to keep the First Amendment, you want to be recognized as Israelites when you can't even answer none of my questions standing out here about what's your political status, and if you are a nation, how do you come together and be a nation? Y'all don't know none of that. Y'all ain't even investigating in it because you said God holding you in slavery. But here's the thing. You're going to be in slavery as long as the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. But if he said come out and don't be a part of them and none of their customs, then you have to say we've got our own custom and laws and rules we have to follow as a people over here. United States, thanks, but we don't need your government no more. As a matter of fact, you owe us. Now, you don't have to pay us, God. We can let Jesus get it when he get back. But you got to stop taxing us right now, or either pick your guns up and come and kill us. You can't. That's why they got y'all in dilemma. Until you say that, they're not gonna move, man. Until you let them know that these are the what am I trying to say? These are the criteria that need to be met. This is the criteria that need to be met. Y'all need to stop calling us your citizens and stop treating us like that. Stop stopping us. Go back to keeping that peace and friendship treaty. The rights of indigenous people that you've already established for those people who you know are not the indigenous people. Now you need to apply that same with us and the Constitution. And we're going to have our own law and government over here. And y'all start paying us for being in our land. You might not be responsible for what your father and mothers did, your ancestors, but you are responsible for what you're doing right now, the eugenics that you're holding in place, and what you're doing right now.
So if you're Israel, where's Israel? The physical quality locations. Give me the longitudinal coordinates of the land of Israel.
Perfect definition of a
demon.
No, he ain't no demon. They see how they run and say he's a demon. Let this person. No, you the demon. You the demon right now. You off. You off. Because you don't know none of that history. You don't know none of your political, civics. You don't know who you are. You don't know you're a human. You trying to play the man off because he said, why come we ain't in Israel? If you knew why, you could shut him down right now. If you knew, you know why, but you need to shut him down. But you had to acknowledge that you got that slave trade wrong. And that the Native American, that all the people from the 12 tribes are in this land today. Every one of them. All the nations are in this land. All the nations that God created is in this land right now. So why not all the Israelites? Or at least a representative from each tribe. And they got some people, some kids. They over here eating lunch or something. They doing something over here.
destroy him so many times.
You ain't destroyed him. And plus, see, that's the thing. The Moors, you can't destroy the Moors because they believe in worshiping the stars or a bunch of gods or something. Same thing the Egyptians believe. Yeah, you can destroy their religions, but he's got something you need. You ain't even listening. That show you ain't good counselors, because good counselors listen. You don't even know what you don't know.
Let's take it back to the tribe of Judah.
That's why you whisper in the camera.
True. Did Judah not have children by ancient Canaanite women? Is Judah not connected to the so-called Negro color of black today? Yes. We don't.
See, they all from that religion. He's trying to go from here in the Christian church trying to talk the Moors religion. They show you how he got that all screwed up right there. Yeah, he trying to put the bloodline with Ruth the Moabite.
Prophesied nation. So if you claim to be indigenous to the Americas, then you have to have a nationality that connects you to that special land.
That's true. And see, that's the thing right there. Everybody uses the nationality that connects them to the land, connects them to their people. You have to come back to the people that they were dealing with when they came over here. You can't go back to your ancient heritage, your ancient blood. You know who you are ancient. So in order to get these contracts lifted off of you and rebuke these contracts that they trying to put you on, that citizenship and jurisdiction, you have to show the contract that they need to be following, which is peace and friendship treaty, the rights of indigenous people. That's all you need right there in the Constitution. And the fact that they are not a government, the Clearfield document. So they don't have no jurisdiction. They don't have no standing in court. Yeah, you see what I mean? They can't request no grand jury against you because they don't have jurisdiction to take you to court unless you go and kill somebody or do some harm to them and their nation. But they can't go into another nation and impose laws on them. They swore that they wouldn't do that through the Constitution. And if they participated in our government, because this government is our government, the government of this land is our government. If they tried to govern us, that they would have to uphold the Constitution and all the other treaties that they have with us. That's what he's talking about. If you're gonna say you're a people, stop functioning that 501c3 as a corporation that's joined with them. You are joined with them. The 501c3, you're part of the secret treaty of Verona. Your secret treaty of Verona.
And also, law will back up what you're saying.
See?
So when the nationality was stripped away from the Moors in 1779 and replaced with the titles of Negro, color, the black, how do y'all fit in that? Have you all addressed that when it comes to the state?
See what he's saying? He's saying now you got to correct that, and it's as easy as this. See, they go by when they go on there and protest IUIC, they go get the permits. That's giving them jurisdiction. So he's saying you ain't challenge their jurisdiction with the state that you can move free just like them. You can set laws. You can have police force just like them. They want to be in your country. They can't stop you from having your police force and your government working. What other country they in that they can go in? They can't go in China or Russia and Africa and all of them all over that country and just stop their government from working. When we come in, y'all stop and y'all gotta let y'all government. No, they let them people government keep running.
Do you understand what fringes means? Whenever do you understand that you're presenting yourself in a military fashion? That means you.
Yeah, they understand they present themselves in a military fashion. So therefore, we do have a military. We do have a military. That's what Esau and all of them consider. We do. They probably say them dumbasses. We do have a military. So we have to unite back as a nation and consider ourselves our military. Everybody else do. You got to consider yourself your military. People got to step up and volunteer and say, I'll volunteer. And then if they ain't going to pay us, then we're going to have to use the people that we got that we can feed and take care of and house. We're gonna we're gonna take some land. We're gonna go take some land and set our government up on and set our people and our communities up. If they want to try to stop us, then we'll be back in civil war again. We're gonna go claim some land like they did. We need everybody. We need the whole 40 million to do it. Else we won't be strong enough to do that. See, that's what they counting on. You ain't strong enough to do that. We got the guns, and all we need is the people to go claim who we are. We can do it in peace. We can go down armed to the White House and demand that they get out, or find them another place. They've had it for 500 years. Now it's time for us to come back. We woke up now. The consciousness of the people got to come up to where we can do that and do it in peace, and just demand we give them a certain amount of time to get out. Because we all send them letters to vacate all our government buildings and get your own buildings. This is ours. You didn't pay us. You ain't going to pay us. You holding all our stuff as yours. Now, either y'all fight, man, or y'all give us a place to live, because we tired of y'all foot on our neck.
Sit up under a paramilitary function. You understand that? Can you teach our people this? Can you truly deliver the people this message of truth? Because there's a lot of things that we all don't know.
You see him walk by there and wave his hand. That's how they doing that education, that part of the education that they need. And it's simple. It's right here on the internet. I'm telling them right now. If they study this video and then go back and read those documents and listen to all the other information that the Moors and all these white people has put out about our legal rights and what it means to be us, we ain't even looking at that. We ain't even looking at it. We really the rulers of our existence. If we gather back together, that's what God telling us to gather together. Once we get strong enough, gather together, then we'll be strong enough where people ain't even going to want to fight us. They just going to say, hey, and then he's going to have to say, now Israelites, y'all teach the people the law and teach them how to respect each other. That's going to come natural.
Come in love. And we going to live in peace.
He said, come in love and peace.
That?
You got to do that. We living together already. We living together already.
The Israel nation, but our nationality, how can we be an Israelite and we're born indigenous to the Americas? Connect that. I can tell you how you connect that. Jesus was a descendant of who? David?
See, he can't tell you. Now, the Israelites can tell you, but he can't tell you. The Israelites can only one that's got the sense of they got the key to it, but they just won't accept that they need to participate in this other part of the puzzle. You got to put the civics together to show the people that God considered civics, considered their social and their hierarchy and their position in the world. They have to consider that and come back and be those kings and queens amongst their people. You got to be an individual king and queen now. You got to treat the next man like he's a king and a queen. That's the only way we're going to make it, man. That's the only way we're going to put this nation back together. That's the way we work. That's why we didn't need police and all of that. Everybody police themselves. They police their kids. Okay? That's why we didn't need all that stuff Esau got. You know why they need that now? Because Esau is the wicked. Esau is the wicked.
Prophet, right? Israelite nation, but he also had a grandmother who was way more devoted. As it says in your Bible, in chapter 2, that she was more devoted to the great God than even the daughters of Israel. And what was her nationality? It says that she was a born fighter. So now, connect that to the descendants of the tribe of Judah, and then you have us here in America. The Moorish Americans, they don't know nothing about that. In fact, you can't even teach the people about the missing 18 years of Jesus, otherwise known as
see, all the Moors mumble and scramble. You can't understand none of that. He didn't understand it. He don't know what he talking about. He trying to remember what he thought he heard his instructor say. He don't understand nothing he's saying about religion. It's confusion. Religion for them and those Egyptians and all the world is confusion. It's it's confusion, man. They can't make no sense out of that stuff they saying, man. But I'm just doing that so we can get through the video. I'm just
I studied up under your leader.
Look.
Who actually went to
He's dropping names. He's dropping names now. He's dropping names.
and established a community over there in Dalmatia. But you know what? The thing was, he wasn't able to, he wasn't able to.
Now let's see what they're gonna say. Let's see what they're gonna say.
Every means to reach out to our people, and nobody want to sit down and speak to us. It's about the community. You see us invited to the Juneteenth. We everywhere in the
Listen, that dude. Listen. Listen, that dude just stood out there at the bullhorn and gave y'all a whole lesson, man. Things you need to work on. Things y'all can come together on that will help the nation of Israel right here in this land. That will help us resist the devil. And you said nobody want to sit down and talk to you. That's the kind of participation y'all getting with each other. And y'all bumping heads and just ignoring each other and don't even know. And I know God is trying to put that in our heads to work on that part of it, because this video, the Moors, this is a coincidence right here. You got a Christian, you got a Moor, and you got Israelites sitting right here together, because he's all of that in one. That dude right there, he's a Christian, an Israelite, and a Moor. Right there with that bullhorn. He just don't know how to put it together. If he knew more about who he really was as an Israelite, he'll take that. He'll be like where I'm at now. What's that guy Jamar that they caught going across the border up in Massachusetts or somewhere? Him and those guys, they locked him up. They still locked up. Now, if you could get him and the Moors and the Israelites and Dane Calloway representing the Native Americans. Dane Calloway is representing the 12 tribes and don't know it. The Israelites need to listen to how the Moors explain how we got over here. Kui Mayo was explain that slave ship, all the slave ship stuff. Kui Mayo will explain that. Dane Calloway will explain how the United States government conspired to hide the Native American Indians, the black people who were here, and call them Negroes, because a lot of them didn't go into captivity. They became they were in captivity because the earth's given into the hands of the wicked. They were under persecution. But a lot of those indigent servants, they feared the white man. And they worked as slaves because they had to work their own land, rent equipment from the white man, and pay him, in the end for the land that was already his, if he wanted to buy it back. But he never was able to buy it back because he was always running in the hole. He was always in the hole because he was a slave, just like right now. So this is what we need to do, is to unite all three and get those. I wouldn't care what group. I would say IUIC. Get them, maybe a representative of the more that let's see, either Jamar or Ties. Get Ties. They head man, get Ties. They heads, what they call them, Solemn or something like that. salting. The head salting ties, old school dude. And I would say Jamar, and you can get Dane Calloway and Cooley Mayo, and put together affidavits uniting all of us back together. Moors have already done the work. They've already started suing, put lawsuits in on the United States government for violation of the rights of indigenous people. And so they've already done it. So this is what we're getting to. Let's look at this, and I'm going to check out.
We tried every means to reach out to our people, and nobody wanted to down and speak to us. We got the community. You see us invited to the Juneteenth. We're everywhere in the city trying to fix our community, but the black church do not want to deal with it. Why? That's the problem. You know what I mean? So that's what we out here to do, boss. So you can relay that message.
See, so
The pastor. So we out here, we ain't out here.
Now I'm gonna tell you. See, I'm gonna tell you.
You know what I mean? We ain't got weapons. We ain't got none of that.
see, they ain't listening to each other.
I ain't got no weapon. I'm coming.
See, them young guys ain't. They talk about how smart they are, and they ain't even listening to each other. They talk about they are bad counselors, and they not even listening to each other. You know what I mean? And so, wow. I'm gonna stop sharing. So this was a good opportunity to, and I'm gonna, look for other opportunities to try to show why it's very necessary that we teach civics to the people, because that's going to teach you that God considered you above all the nations. It's going to teach you what being human is, and it's going to teach you that excuse me, it's going to make you want to come back and be the Israelites. You're not out there without any legal representation. There is legal representation right now, and that's what Esau would like for you to think, and that's how Esau and even the black political and all your religious leaders don't want you to know that you have legal rights as an Israelite and a native Indian in this land on earth. And that legal right is that if they violate you, as a human, you call them white privileges or something. We have privileges as a human. It's not privileges, it's God-given rights. They say white privileges because they don't want you to understand God-given rights. But our God-given rights is just like what they call white privileges, okay? So, let's see. We're going to end this recording, and hopefully we can get it up and get more videos up and try to help people to understand how your God-given rights are your civic rights. And we need to stand up for our God-given rights. That's resisting the devil. We're not under their whip anymore. And we have to break that off, break that mentality off of ourselves and let them know that we declare and denounce their government. We think it's going to stop our Social Security checks and all of that. No, that's not going to stop none of that, because we know who we are. Don't other people of different nations get Social Security checks when they worked and paid into it? That ain't going to stop none of your stuff. That's contract law. That ain't going to stop your VA pension. That's contract law. They have to continue. If they want to say, hey, all of our contracts that we have with y'all people, everything, all contracts that we don't have to honor none of that, then they gotta leave. They gotta leave because they here under a contract with us. See? So everything that we paid into this government, all the benefits, the Social Security check, or whatever you get, you shouldn't have to pay into it. But if you have paid it and you getting it right now, then they can't stop it. Okay? That's your God-given right. So we're gonna end this video, and if you guys can give me some comments, like and share, and this is for educational purposes only. I'm not trying to put anybody down, but they put the video out there, and I thought it was a good opportunity to teach what I'm doing on Facebook and other platforms, trying to get Israelites, so-called Northern Kingdom, who call themselves Judah, dark-skinned people, to consider themselves as the Native Americans here too. This is our land too, because we are benefiting here. Because we might not be given reparations, but we at least can make them honor their oath of office and make them honor the Declaration of Independence, our Declaration of Independence to them, and the Constitution. If they're going to pose and act as government, they're the government of us too. And then we put them up and take them down. And they're not our gods. We have a God, we have laws. We are a different nation on our land that they invaded. Now, if they are not those same people that their parents were when they came over here, raped, robbed, and murdered, which they know about, and they agree to keep the eugenics, redlining, keep calling themselves white, keep calling us black, keep holding us to the Negro codes. If they continue that, then they are asking us to pick up our guns and fight against them. What